because I'm shifting my attention to what the Supreme Court today did. It stayed the Uttarakhand High Court order directing removal of encroachments on Indian Railways land in Uttarakhand's Haldwani, which would have led to the eviction of more than 4,000 families. The legal battle began after a public interest litigation on illegal mining in the area filed in 2013. Later, the scope of the case was widened to include alleged encroachments. On December 20 gone by, Uttarakhand High Court ordered the removal of the encroachments from Railways land. In compliance with the order, Railways authorities carried out a survey of illegal structures that were to be demolished, and from January 1, the residents started getting eviction notices. Hundreds of people, including women and children, started protesting. Today, the court ordered a stay till the next hearing on February 7. Till then, they have asked for more details of the railways, from the railways and the government. And when the question of demarcation of the land came up, Railways informed the court that they have indeed demarcated what is their land, what is the state land. Further, on the question of rehabilitation, the ASG informed the court that no alternative land has been asked for by the residents. What the residents claim in this case is that they are not going to move. This is going to be their land. A quick breakdown of the top statements and observations and orders of the Supreme Court today. So they've stayed, of course, the Uttarakhand High Court direction to evict the people. It went on to say that we cannot uproot 50,000 people in just 7 days. A workable agreement is necessary to segregate basically who really has a legitimate claim and who don't have any claim at all. The court also said that they need to check existing rehabilitation schemes, but as I just mentioned, the residents don't want rehabilitation. They're not fighting for that. So will that question now be forced by the court is another question. And secondly, the court also mentioned that they don't want to put the railways in difficulty. So they do want to come to a conclusion in this case, but something that is agreeable to both sides. Now, even as the matter has been in courts, the community protests in Haldwani have also raised eyebrows. Residents of the area had started doing dharnas, even offering prayers together on the road. The protests have now been likened to Delhi's Shaheen Bagh agitation from 2020, which were mostly carried out by Muslim women against the CAA. Before the SC hearing, one could see several protesters sitting on the roads raising allegations of being targeted for their religion, even as Muslim clerics gave speeches in the area. In Haldwani, several political parties have also jumped in since the area has majority Muslim population. The matter has become politically sensitive, with some deliberately making it communal as well. The big question we asked today, while there is relief for Haldwani residents today, was this not a classic case of politicizing what was an anti-encroachment or a drive against encroachments by the courts and the states and the railways? That coming up.
हमें पूरी उम्मीद है कि आगे को भी जो है फैसला सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तरफ से हमारे ही हक में आएगा। अभी तो स्टे हुआ ना, कार्रवाई अभी रहेगी।
अब जो फैसला है वो दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो चुका है, जो कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने किया है, वो ना कि हमारा फैसला है। और मैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जस्टिस का और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बहुत सम्मान करता हूँ कि उन्होंने ये फैसला गरीब मजलूमों के हक में किया है।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इस मानवीय पक्ष को समझा और उन्होंने तोड़ फोड़ की कार्रवाई, जो नोटिस आदि जारी किए गए थे, जो वहाँ पुलिस फोर्स भेज दी गई थी, तोड़ने की पूरी तैयारियां हो गई थी, वो सब पर रोक लगा दी।
The matter has been fixed. Matter is sub judice before the Honorable Supreme Court and the matter is fixed for 7th February. Let's wait for 7th February.
First up, I want to go across to Abdul Malik, who's one of the petitioners in this case. He is representing the Public Welfare Society, which is fighting on behalf of the residents. Abdul ji, Supreme Court से जो stay का order आया है evacuation के order पे, तो उससे आप खुश होंगे क्योंकि कुछ relief मिला है आपको आज?
कोर्ट पे बहुत उम्मीद थी और शाम बहुत है
जी।
और हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट के साथ साथ अपने जो हमारे वकील है प्रशांत भूषण जी, उनका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहते हैं इस मसले में।
जी, ये कोर्ट में आज रिहैबिलिटेशन का मामला उठा है। कोर्ट ने बात रखी है कि रिहैबिलिटेशन होना चाहिए, लेकिन उनको बताया गया कि रेसिडेंट्स जो आप जैसे हैं वो तो रिहैबिलिटेशन मांग ही नहीं रहे हैं। तो अगर सरकार आपको दूसरी जगह देती है तो क्या आप उससे खुश रहेंगे?
नहीं, हम सरकार से दूसरी जगह लेंगे क्यों? जब हमारी ये जगह है रेलवे की, वो जगह ही नहीं है, तो रेलवे अपनी जगह ही तो ले सकती है, दूसरे की जगह तो नहीं ले सकती है। रेलवे की 31 एकड़ जमीन है, 31 एकड़ जमीन पे रेलवे काबिज है। और जो ये जो कर रही है रेलवे ने, हमारे हाई कोर्ट को भी गुमराह करा, और रेलवे का जो DRM है वो सबको गुमराह कर रहा है, जबकि उनकी गजट में जो गजट हुआ है वो 1882 में 1242 नंबर का जो गजट है उनका, तो उसके अंदर 31 एकड़ जमीन है, और 31 एकड़ जमीन उन पे वो लोग काबिज है। रेलवे इस टाइम पे, रेलवे को भ्रम ये है कि जो पुरानी पटरी पड़ी थी वो हमारी है, लेकिन उस रेलवे को ये पता नहीं है 1942 के अंदर जब बाढ़ आई थी तो रेलवे ने टेम्परेरी तौर से नगर निगम के अंदर, नगर पालिका के अंदर अपनी ये रेलवे लाइन पटरी डाल दी थी। तो बाढ़ में उसने अपनी रेलवे लाइन सुधार ली, और सुधारने के बाद वो अपनी पुरानी पटरी पे चलती रही। ये रेलवे लाइन तो उसने टेम्परेरी तौर पे लगाई थी, वो ना तो इस रेलवे लाइन के लिए उसने गजट मांगा था, ना नगर पालिका ने रेलवे लाइन वो ट्रांसफर करी थी। तो उसके ये वाली लाइन नगर पालिका को, रेलवे लाइन नगर पालिका ने उसको ट्रांसफर नहीं करी थी, हमारे जिला अधिकारी ने उसे ट्रांसफर नहीं करी थी, और जो ट्रांसफर जो करी थी वो 31 एकड़ जमीन उसके पास है मौजूद।
ओके, तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि आपकी जमीन बनती है, रेलवे की नहीं बनती, लेकिन इसमें आज कोर्ट में भी जो मामला आया है कि सरकार की भी इसमें जमीन है, तो आपको तो ये कोर्ट में प्रूव करना पड़ेगा कि आपकी जमीन है या नहीं, मालिकाना आपका हक है या नहीं। लेकिन जो दूसरी बात सामने आई है वो ये है कि ये पहले हाईकोर्ट में मामला चल रहा था, हाईकोर्ट से ऑर्डर आया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मामला गया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हियरिंग तय थी, फिर भी धरने शुरू हो गए और सड़क रोकने का काम शुरू हो गया। क्या वो सही है?
नहीं, हमने सड़क को कहीं भी नहीं रोका। हम तो अपने मोहल्ले के हद के अंदर हम वहां पर है, और ज्यादा लोग क्लियर कर रहे हैं। खाली सड़क पे धरना को किसी ने नहीं देना, हमने क्लियर करी, वहां दुआ मांगी है लोगों से, अल्लाह ताला से दुआ मांगी, अल्लाह जो भी हो खैर कर, जो भी अल्लाह सुप्रीम कोर्ट फैसला करे उस पर अंदर खैर हो।
नहीं, बात ये रही कि मैं विजुअल्स तो चला रही हूँ, जो पूरी सड़कें बंद थी और पूरी सड़कों पे लोग धरना दे रहे थे, और हमने ये भी देखा है कि जो पॉलिटिशियंस हैं वो उसको मुसलमानों का इशू बना रहे हैं, जबकि वहां पे बहुत सारे हिंदू परिवार भी हैं, हिंदू लोग भी हैं। तो ये पॉलिटिक्स क्या सही है जिसमें रिलीजन को घुसाया जा रहा है, धर्म को घुसाया जा रहा है?
धार्मिक वाला ये जो और पार्टी जो आके यहाँ पे जो कर रही है बिल्कुल गलत कर रही है, इनको यहाँ पे आना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पे तो हिंदू मुसलमान दोनों मिलके सब लोग रहते हैं। और जबकि हमारे जो इस इलाके में भी जब मुस्लिम बहुबल क्षेत्र होते साथ ही हम इस इलाके से 6-7 हजार वोट बीजेपी को भी देते हैं, तो हमें तो ये इतने मिलजुल के हम लोग रहते हैं। तो ये जो और ग्रुप भागे फिर रहे हैं, तो उससे हमारी विनती है, ये लोग, ये नाम है, हमें कोर्ट के भरोसे रहते हैं, हम अपनी लड़ाई खुद लड़ लेंगे, और हमारे पेपर हमारे खुद मजबूत है।
ओके, तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि जो AIMIM जैसी पार्टी है, समाजवादी पार्टी है, जो इसको मुसलमानों का इशू बना रही है, वो गलत कर रही है?
वो बिल्कुल नहीं बना है, वो उसके आने से हमें फायदा नहीं होगा, हमें तो बहुत नुकसान होगा। हम तो चाहते हैं यहाँ पे जो भी आज भी आवे, जैसे हमारी जो हम PIL करते थे, हमारी ये जो PIL जो भी हमने डलवाई थी, जो पब्लिक वेलफेयर सोसाइटी, ये भूपेंद्र आर्या के नाम से हमने डलवाई थी, वो हमारे अध्यक्ष है इसमें, तो हमने उनके नाम से कराई। और ये जो नॉन मुस्लिम लोग हैं और उनके साथ मिलकर हम इसके अंदर वो कर रहे हैं, हम हिंदू मुस्लिम वाली बात ही नहीं कर रहे।
So the residents don't want it to be on the basis of religion, even though we saw something else play out on the ground today and over the last few days. But the politicians are insisting that this is about demonizing a certain community or cracking down on a certain community. I want to open this up to our guests now joining us. I'm joined by Dr. Devendra Bhasin, who's from the BJP. Ramesh Bhatt is a journalist and former media advisor to the Uttarakhand Chief Minister. Adil Hassan is from the AIMIM, and Kapil Sankla, lawyer, continues with us. Adil Hassan, I'm coming to you first. You've heard what the petitioner in this case is saying. कि ये जो बाहर से पार्टीज आ रही है यहाँ पे और जहाँ पे पॉलिटिक्स कर रही हैं, इसको हिंदू मुस्लिम बना रही है या मुसलमानों का इशू बना रही है, वो ना करे. They don't want this. Then why is it that the likes of Asaduddin Owaisi only see the religion of the person concerned in such cases?
I mean, it was after the barrister Asaduddin Owaisi spoke on this issue, then only national media got attention. Then only after his tweet, after his press conference, the media went to Haldwani. It is the reality. It is the responsibility of both the Congress and BJP government because they are playing with the resident of that Haldwani. Because in 2016, in the Honorable High Court, the Uttarakhand Congress government filed that it is the government property. The same Dhami government, after in 2022, they approached to the High Court that this is the property, it is railway property. What is this? They just want to deceive the people of the Haldwani. We want justice. On the humanitarian ground, we want the Honorable Supreme Court to look into the matter. We never talked about.
You can obviously no. You did. One second.
Media started.
No, one second. Adil Hassan ji, I am running. One second. I am running the statement of Asaduddin Owaisi. You have made it about Muslims. If you want justice for the people, you have all the right to do it. We've got the petitioner who's gone to court, right? Courts is listening to people. But why did you make this about one particular community? And I also want to read out certain examples. 1 second, sir. 1 second. No, this was blatant communalization of an anti-encroachment drive. There is Kapil Sankla, I'm coming to you. Last year in Haryana, almost 10,000 residential units, last to last year, this was 2021. 10,000 residential units were raised in the forest land of Khorigaon. Some would remember this in Delhi NCR. In Haryana last year, a demolition drive was done in Banjara Market, Saraswati Kunj. In Delhi, over 2,700 kilometers of government land has been freed from encroachments. Supertech Twin Towers, which people had paid money for, was demolished as deemed illegal. People suffered in that. You've got even as far back as 2020 January, Kerala, where 350 illegal flats were brought down after being constructed. My question is that why is it that Asaduddin Owaisi saw it fit to raise only the issue of Assam anti-encroachment drive and this anti-encroachment drive? Is it not blatantly communalizing an anti-encroachment drive? There are other drives that have happened where thousands of people have suffered.
That is a very beautiful way of putting it, and it is absolutely right. It is unfortunate that minority card is being played in this matter only to communalize the issue. It is not going to help BJP or Congress. It is only going to help Mr. Owaisi, who's going to come up with this narrative that it's been done only against the Muslims. Now, the question is very limited here. Are you in illegal occupation of government land? If yes, can you claim any right only because you've been doing something illegal for ages? Which basically means if I am a criminal, I am committing a crime and I haven't been caught for a number of years, today can I come and say, because you haven't caught me now for a number of years, you cannot now punish me? I mean, that's the argument that Mr. Owaisi has, that because also there are, let me finish. No, sir, I did not. Sir, I can tell you this, that I have a very loud voice and you can go on and on and I will be louder than you. So let me just finish.
Adil, उनको बोलने दीजिए. Adil जी, उनको बोलने दीजिए. आपके पास मैं दोबारा आऊंगी. ऐसे मत बोलिए, आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है. Let's just have Kapil Sankla finish.
The problem here is he has no argument to make, so all he can do is to shout. Thank you. So now the thing is this, that what did the railways do? There was a case where it was a case of illegal mining, a case was filed, it was so disclosed that certain land belongs to the railway was made a party, railway came and showed documents to show that this was their land. They said that here is a map notification of 1959. Here are the revenue records of 1971. Here is the survey of 2017. The land belongs to railway. Now this case is going on. This is government land. And we all know, as you rightly pointed out, but I can give you another example. This is under the Public Premises Act. This act was created to expedite release of government properties from the hands of illegal occupiers. Now, when this land was occupied, one, you punish the people who were involved during illegal occupation, I understand. But you cannot give benefit, irrespective of whatever your religious affiliations are, to any person whatsoever who has committed a crime, who's done something illegal, is residing illegally in government land.
Yeah.
That is one.
So what the...
Secondly,
Yes.
the case is under the Public Premises Act. It would be expedited. Someday an order will come against you. Now, if it was Christians, the law would have been different? No. Well, what about the Hindus who are also getting evicted from the same premises? What is happening to them? So is Mr. Owaisi saying, oh, because the Hindus are living next to Muslims, they shall also be punished? No. So therefore, this polarization and this narrative that is sought to be created to divide India and to create this divisive political maneuverability is extremely unfortunate.
No, it is unfortunate as far as the politics is concerned. I hope it will play no role as far as the legal case is concerned. All the court sought to do today is that there is, of course, human beings involved here. There is a human angle, and we must do something about that. But that brings in the other problem in this case. As I just spoke to the petitioner, and the petitioners have not said it in court today, they don't want an alternate land. They are saying they want to stay here. Yes. Now let me just bring in some of our other guests as well. Yes, Adil Hasan ji, बताइए अब बोलिए क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं? बताइए अब क्या अब बोलिए.
You don't have to shout to raise your argument. Don't raise your voice, sir.
आदिल जी, आप आराम से बात कर लीजिए, किसी के ऊपर मत बोलिए, आप अपनी टर्न पे बोल लीजिए.
We also know the reality.
बताइए.
So do I, sir. That is why I'm here as a lawyer.
Okay. I have to give two other panelists some time, so I request to go to them first now. Let me go across to Dr. Devendra Bhasin from the BJP.
Okay.
There is a question that is arising, Mr. Bhasin, कि इतने सालों से सरकार क्या कर रही थी और क्या सरकार भी अपना स्टांस चेंज कर रही है, जैसे आदिल हसन बोल रहे हैं, और आप क्यों नहीं जनता के बारे में सोच रहे, आप क्यों नहीं उनको कुछ ऑल्टरनेट लैंड दे देते?
सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि सारे मामले में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट वाज नॉट ए पार्टी. व्हाट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट वाज डूइंग, इट वाज सिंपली फॉलोइंग द इंस्ट्रक्शंस ऑफ द हाई कोर्ट. On the orders of High Court, state government was making preparations for the evacuation, but today's scene has changed. Now Supreme Court has given new orders. So now our Chief Minister has made it clear that we will abide by the orders of the Honorable Supreme Court. And whatever Supreme Court has asked for the state government will act accordingly, number one. Number two, the main culprit behind this entire issue is none else but the Congress. Because Congress people, they brought certain people to this area, number one. And the case started in 2013 when some Mr. Joshi, he filed an PIL in Honorable High Court regarding the encroachment of this area. Then Railway came before and told that this area, this 29 acre of land which has been encroached, is of Railway. Now there was a tussle between state government when Congress was in power in Uttarakhand. So Congress government tried to say that this land is of state government, but they were not able to prove it. So finally court said that this land belongs to the railway. They orders for the evacuation of the land. So our government, we are of the opinion that whatever courts say, we will simply follow that one, number one. And regarding this evacuation plan or some rehabilitation program, so whatever is required, that would be given by the state government to the Honorable High Court. But one thing is there, from the very beginning, the issue was legal issue. It was the issue of legal or illegal occupancy. But Congress people, they tried to communalize it, Hindu and Muslim. You know, and you also mentioned the same thing, that in that area, Hindus and Muslim both are living. So evacuation process will cover both. So
no, but because this is Muslim majority, the population that is being affected is Muslim in majority, so now they've brought in this minority card. I don't know how in this case religion plays any role. I have listed out other encroachment drives. Sabki properties pe chale hain bulldozer.
This is the main issue, that Congress are trying to communalize the issue. When evacuation process was carried in Bihar, they didn't raise any voice. In Haryana, in Rajasthan, in Chhattisgarh.
No, this is setting a very bad precedent. That if there is a majority community that has evictions, nobody cares. And you don't use religion. But when it's a minority community, you use religion to draw some sympathy. Let me bring in, one second sir, let me bring in Ramesh Bhatt also. Ramesh Bhatt, here a question that also goes out is that the railways also very belatedly has started to fight for this land. Is that also not wrong? We are caught in this vicious cycle where encroachment is allowed to begin, then it is allowed to settle down for decades at length, and then suddenly someone wakes up one day and says, "Inko nikalo yahan se." Is that also not a problem here?
you will surprised to know that railway is not interested in this land because this is the third PIL filed in the High Court. तो रेलवे ने तो कभी इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं दिखाया अपनी जमीन के लिए, उसे तो पार्टी हाई कोर्ट ने बनाया है। और रेलवे ने अपनी आरटीआई में इन आंसर टू इट्स आरटीआई उसने खुद बोला है दैट 31.87 हेक्टेयर लैंड दैट इज नियर अबाउट 78 to 79 एकड़ लैंड इनक्रोच हुआ है वहां पर, उसने आरटीआई में बोला है। नाउ इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट इज, इसको एक तो आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, इसको कम्युनल एंगल से नहीं देखना चाहिए, इसको इस एंगल से देखना चाहिए कि जो वो लैंड है, अगर जैसा कि रेलवे कह रहा है कि वो लैंड अगर रेलवे की है, अगर वो इनक्रोच हुई है तो साहब रेलवे का अधिकार है उस इनक्रोचमेंट को खत्म करने का। और अगर जो लोग वहां पर अराउंड 50,000 पीपल रिजाइडिंग इन दैट एरिया वो ये कहते हैं कि साहब हम लोग यहाँ पर रहते हैं, तो उन्होंने अपने टाइटल अभी तक दिखाए क्यों नहीं? बिकॉज पीपी एक्ट में उनकी सुनवाई हुई है, हाई कोर्ट ने ओपन नोटिस एक अखबार में दिया कि आप आइए अपनी बात रखिए। तो अभी भी मुझे लगता है कि अभी भी इस पूरे मामले में सिर्फ और सिर्फ पॉलिटिक्स हो रही है। जो वो 50,000 लोग हैं उनका आगे क्या होगा, अभी उनको फौरी रिलीफ मिल गया है, बट 7 फेब को जो डिस्कशन जो जिरह होगी उस पर क्या निकल कर आएगा, इस पे कोई चर्चा नहीं कर रहा है। जो सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात है इस पूरे एपिसोड में हाई कोर्ट ने अपने डिसीजंस में बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बातें कही है, लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को लेकर बातें कही गई है। स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का कहना है कि वो पार्टी नहीं है, जबकि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट पार्टी क्यों नहीं है? स्टेट लॉ एंड ऑर्डर स्टेट का सब्जेक्ट है।
बिल्कुल सही
कल के दिन अगर इंक्रोचमेंट हटेगा, यहाँ पर रेलवे का नेटवर्क बढ़ेगा, उसका फायदा स्टेट को मिलेगा। एक और जो क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर है जो पूछना चाहिए कि साहब ये एक दिन में तो इतना इंक्रोचमेंट हुआ नहीं होगा, तो रेलवे कहाँ सोया था अब तक?
मैं तो वही आपसे सवाल पूछा था ना रमेश जी। It is also not fair to wake up after what is coming out, for example, 7 decades, 8 decades later. But now I think the biggest crux of this case is the court wants to have some human angle involved here, some humane touch here, because people have to go somewhere. Now the problem that arises, as I see it after speaking to petitioners, is that they are not willing to take alternative land. Will they then follow if the court directs that you take an alternate land and free the railways land? Is now, I think, the next big issue to look out for. But I've run out of time. I do thank our guests for joining us. We'll wait and see how this case progresses. One thing is clear, that there was a blatant attempt to communalize this issue, and that attempt must be defeated, especially in courts as well. I have to slip into a very short break. On the other side, the day's biggest story.